Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode in the Phase 3 Meets series. Delighted this week to have Matt Russell join us. Matt, how you doing? You well?
Very well, Asad. How are you today?
Yes, superb. Thank you. The sun is shining in sunny Manchester. Doesn't happen too often, so yeah, happy with that. For those of you who don't know Matt, I'll do a quick intro. So Matt is the former sales director for Lee Hecht Harrison Penner, the former chief sales officer for Benefex, which of course is a Zelis company, and is currently the chief commercial officer at leading HR and payroll technology software company CIPHR. Okay, so wow, for those of you who don't know much about CIPHR, can you start, please, Matt, by just giving us a bit of an overview about CIPHR, a bit of history there, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been going for about 30 years. We've got a modern human capital management platform called CIPHR Connect. So within CIPHR Connect, we offer a really broad range of solutions to the HR community. So it's everything from HR to recruitment to onboarding, payroll and learning management. And I guess what makes us fairly unique in the market is that we've got a really modern API connectivity to about 50 partners. So, our whole ethos is about making it a really frictionless people management experience. So a lot of our customers will have a number of tools they use outside of CIPHR. And the joy of the API connectivity is that it connects it all into CIPHR, brings everything into one place. It enables our people to analyze data and make decisions around their people from within our platform. And it's a fairly broad range of solutions we provide. So within payroll, for example, it can be everything from a bureau service to a SaaS outsourced service. So really broad range of products and services. We work across multiple sectors, and we work with typically kind of mid-sized organizations all the way up to larger enterprise organizations.
Okay, fantastic. I love the fact that you've that history, that rich history, 30 years. There always seems to be a bit of a portion, bit of focus on kind of startups nowadays, doesn't there? And these kind of organizations with such a long and varied history seem to be forgotten about sometimes, don't they?
Yeah, I agree. Actually, that everything we do is a very modern SaaS solution.
Yeah.
But the reality is that there is that steeped heritage and legacy. And what's really nice as someone who's come into the business reasonably recently is there's lots of people with 20+ year tenures. So it's really great that people stay here and love it and develop really great careers. So yeah, it's lovely.
Brilliant. And you guys have recently made a couple of acquisitions.
Yeah.
So what do you tell us about those?
Yeah, very exciting. So as I mentioned, we've got 50+ partners, and we've acquired a couple of partners in the last 12 months. So first one is Payroll Business Solutions. They offer a bureau and to a multitude of customers and sectors. Again, we had a long history and a long relationship with them, so it was a really nice kind of coming together. And the most recent one, which is about a month ago, is Digits Industries, who are a market leading LMS business. So again, when we think about that, what are we trying to develop at CIPHR, that kind of broad range of services.
Yeah,
we have a number of services that we provide via partners, and we're really just building out everything that we do through what we call CIPHR Connect. Okay,
and is this some kind of strategy for CIPHR now in terms of acquisitions and so on? And the reason I asked that, I mentioned this in a previous episode, was that there seems to be a lot of M&A activity in the HR tech space. Obviously, you guys, and the examples you've just given there, we've had Access Group purchase Core HR. There's Ultimate, Kronos have merged, and Cornerstone and Saba, so on and so forth. And obviously, there's many other examples I could give. But from a CIPHR point of view, is this something that we should be looking for now in terms of kind of growing by acquisition there?
Well, I think, it's difficult to say there's a strategy to buy lots of businesses. I think ultimately for us, it's about broadening out everything that we do. We obviously build good relationships with people through, our partnership strategy. We're having, exponential growth through our own efforts of selling to customers and new customers. I think we would always look for the right partner to bolt on to our our services and everything that we do. I think if you look more broadly at the marketplace, I think there is a lot of consolidation within HR. I think obviously with everything that's going on, I think that's also accelerated things. And I think people can see the real values, certainly within HR technology. So I think it's something that will continue. I think us, like any business, are always looking for the right acquisition. It's got to be the right acquisition financially. It's got to be the right acquisition culturally. It's got to fit in with our broad, human capital management offering. But and it's fascinating times within HR, definitely.
Yeah, and there seems to be a lot of positivity around CIPHR at the moment, and we feel that at phase 3, in terms of conversations we're having with, whether it's customers, whether it's consultants, whether it's other vendors or partners, whatever it is, there seems to be a lot of positivity around you guys at the moment. And obviously with the acquisitions, and you were recently recognized as a core challenger on the 2020 Fosway 9 grid for cloud HR. What do you, first of all, congratulations, as I should say, actually.
We're absolutely delighted with it.
What do you put that down to?
Do you know, I think you talked about that legacy of the business and everything that we do, right? So we put the customer first, and that's really important for us. I think the other kind of positivity around the business is, obviously we're a growth business. We're developing more products and services, both internally and via acquisition. I think what's kind of exciting, or where the kind of positivity comes, is that by creating a really simple people management experience or employee experience, I think everyone is focused on the employee experience. And if you look at most HR tech, you join a business, you're given about 15, 20, sometimes 30 logins to all these different systems to do all these things with, and it's a nightmare. Right, and it's really difficult. So it might be difficult to submit holiday, or it might be difficult to submit expenses. So what we're trying to do is remove that complexity and create this really simple, great employee experience. And I think through that modern API connectivity, and through everything that we're doing around the acquisitions and developing our product, as an employee or as an HR professional, your life is much simpler to be able to go up to one place to do all these things. So I think a lot of the positivity is around what we're trying to do around that frictionless people management experience. And I guess the other thing about CIPHR is, we keep things simple, right? We don't overly complicate things, and I think through the kind of best of breed products and services that we have, there is just that positivity that in everything that we do at the moment. So it's a really, it's a really exciting time. And the Fosway, core challenger was I guess a bit of a rubber stamp on everything that we're doing. So we're really delighted with that.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it, when you follow, like you say, you've been in business a very long time now at CIPHR, and all these nice things happening, at the moment. And I will say, you mentioned the simplicity element. I have to say, just as a side note, I think your branding is fantastic.
Thank you.
I really do. And again, the simplicity of it. You go on your website, you see your posts, your webinars that we've done, obviously joint webinars and stuff in the past with phase 3. Really, it's standout. Because of its simplicity.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. And I think the marketing team, great marketing team, and they put a lot of effort into that messaging. I think I always think about an organization, when whatever we put out there, it feels really relevant. We aren't one of these organizations that just fill social media with posts and you kind of get a bit lost in it. And I get frustrated with those organizations that do that. For us, it's about everything we put out there has to be relevant, has to be, has to make people think. And and that comes all the way back to the branding of what, how we do that.
Value adding. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been doing these videos now for maybe 5-6 months. I was hoping that maybe by October, November, talking.
I think you got another 6 months to go.
Yeah, probably. Now, interesting. You started at CIPHR in March. Is that right? March this year.
So I started the second week of lockdown, which is quite
second week of lockdown.
Yeah.
Okay. So I suppose there's 2 parts to this then. Firstly, as a new starter, how did you find that kind of onboarding, virtual, I assume, onboarding experience? And what initiatives did CIPHR put in place to support obviously the clients and their team during I suppose up to now, really?
Definitely. So the onboarding one's an interesting one, right? I think I've been speaking to CIPHR for some time about joining them, and then there's the whole notice period. And when I handed in my notice at the beginning of the year, life was rosy. I had a bit of time off. I went to see my brother in Australia, and then there was this kind of thing about a virus somewhere, and you just kind of part that. And as it, clearly as it got closer and closer to starting, it was getting more kind of kind of challenging, and then obviously lockdown happened, and I must admit, the week before I started, I was thinking this is going to be super difficult. You start a business, you get to know the culture, you get a feel for the business, you're in the office every day, you're speaking to people, you're looking around, you're hearing things, and over that kind of first 3 months, you shape your thinking.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, how on earth am I going to do this? Because I'd only probably met 8 to 10 people prior to joining. But what's been absolutely amazing, and again, how have we all had to adapt? I can tell you now, it doesn't feel like I've missed anything. There are clearly some days where I want to be in the office, and there's clearly some days it would have been nice to kind of connect with people. But through this interactivity and spending time with people, and having the ability to get to know people, it's been brilliant. I mean, I think what CIPHR did for me was make it really simple. All the equipment turned up. On day one, you turn everything on and it just works. There was a really kind of thorough induction program, which was just then remote. And I got to know the team. So, it's been absolutely amazing. And now it feels like, what was I worried about? But of course, that's just how we've had to adapt. There's been no choice in that. It is slightly crazy that I still haven't met the majority of my team, when you think about that. But again, I don't feel I've not got a relationship with anybody because of that. So it's it's forced us into these new ways of working. And if you think about the future of HR, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how we adapt those things, because I don't think I'd ever want to go through a fully remote onboarding again, but it goes to show you can do it.
It does work. It can work. Absolutely. I think that's one of the key takeaways, isn't it, really? Who'd have thought? Nobody would have, by choice, wanted a virtual onboarding process. But I can use our own example at phase 3 as well, that it actually has been fantastic. Echo what you just said there, really. So then, in terms of the support CIPHR's put in place for its customers, did you any particular kind of initiatives there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the couple of initiatives really. I mean, I think firstly we managed to mobilise our whole workforce to be fully home working within a week, which is a phenomenal effort from our IT and tech department.
Absolutely.
So I think our customers haven't felt anything different. I think we've introduced a couple of new features to our product to kind of enable customers. So part of kind of CIPHR Connect, as we talk about evolving it, is bringing more things to our customers that are going to help them to be more successful in the future. So we're bringing in live chat. We've brought in a new employee sentiment product, which is exciting. So again, when someone logs into CIPHR now, the smiley faces are there in the top corner, and again, I can just click out how I'm feeling. And we've introduced that because, again, a really nice ways. How do you, as an HR team, get a view of employee sentiment? I can phone a colleague up and go, I don't think they're feeling so great today, or they're not, or they're feeling great, or whatever, and you can get that feel. But how do you get a broad feel for sentiment when you're not speaking to people? We've introduced some new features to our customers. A lot of the senior team have also kind of had conversations with our customers. So I've spent a lot of time speaking to customers about how's their business evolving, how's it moving. We are a critical component of helping organisations mobilise a remote workforce.
Of course,
there were lots of things within our product that probably some customers weren't using. So how can you actually then start to use those features that will enable you to kind of ultimately automate manual processes? So we've done a lot of work around speaking to our customers about their businesses and how we can support them. From an employee perspective, we've done lots of really interesting things. In fact, a new notebook turned up today. Again, we've posted out a notebook so we'll just remind them, of the business, and put a pen in there and all those kind of things. There's lots of remote quizzes. One thing that's worked really nicely is that the whole senior management team have been allocated to people not in their department, and we call around them.
Brilliant.
And we speak to them, and we spend a lot of time on the phone to those colleagues, and just how are you feeling? What can we do to help you? And I remember having a call a couple of weeks ago, and someone said, actually, I could just do with another monitor. So very quickly I speak to the guys. We pick up a monitor from the office, we get it delivered, and it's just what are the things we can do to help you. And it's some simple things. I'm lucky. I'm in my garden office, although it's a little bit chilly today. But other people don't have a garden office, and they're working from their bedroom, or they're working from. So what are the things we can do to help them? And it's also just a bit of a check-in with people, and saying to people, it's okay to feel a bit flat some days. So if you need to go for a walk at lunchtime, you need to go for a walk, because we're all looking at this screen all day long. So it has been difficult, but I think that's worked well. It's been, certainly for a lot of us, it's good to get to know people not in other departments. And just what can we do to help you? We're here, we're all in it together.
I
There's
think employee engagement and, like you say, managing mental health and stuff has been absolutely key, hasn't it? And all these initiatives that you've mentioned just help towards that, don't they?
It is, and I think it's not, you can't give everyone 2 monitors or 3 monitors. You can't give everyone lots of time off. But what you can do is say, just make sure you look after yourself. And, as this crisis moves on, we were very lucky. We all had a great summer, right? So in some respects, you could work hard. We as a family would go for a walk with the kids and the dog in the evening, and it was quite nice. And we connected and we had dinner together. Now the nights are getting a bit colder and it's a bit chillier. And clearly this is going to go on for a period of time. How do we make sure that people remain positive, engaged? And it's okay to say, I'm not feeling great today. It's okay to have a bit of a flat day, because you're going to have them, and I think therein lies the challenge of not being in the office. If you're having a bit of a flat moment, you go and grab a colleague and grab a coffee. And 10 minutes later you feel great. So we're encouraging people to connect and talk and engage. And so that's worked really well.
Brilliant. And just digging down a little bit into your role there. So like you say, you knew you were joining CIPHR. You said you went away to Australia and so on and so forth. You're probably thinking, right, when I get there, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this is going to be my process, so on and so forth. COVID kicks in. Have you had to amend your personal approach to new business and over the last few months? And how have you kind of managed that yourself? And I suppose with your team, have you shared that message with your team?
I think we've worked as a team to evolve. I look after business development, new business, customer success, marketing and partnership. So I guess across that range of teams and people, we've had to evolve what we do. I think certainly from a kind of sales perspective, I think you have a great, it's a given that you have a great product and service. Every business I've worked for, we've had great products and services. I've been lucky to work with businesses that have amazing products and services, and the latter 2 businesses in the SaaS world. So it's kind of a given you've got that. But I still fundamentally believe you win most business partly through the product, but also by the engage. They look at you and they look at the team and go, I think I can work with you guys, and you're good people and you come across really well, and the passion you have for the product. I've always believed you have to have the passion. So all of a sudden, the bit about you're in the room, they're looking at you in the whites of the eyes, and you're demoing the product gets removed. So we've had to evolve pretty quickly. Now we've had a really, we're doing really well, and we're still growing and we're winning business, and that's fantastic. And again, there's a lesson that you don't have to be in the room. And it's a big but. How do you still get that same passion engagement over this? And if there's 6 people on the call and they're just seeing the little square of you, that's very different. So we've clearly had to evolve that, and we've worked with the team. In fact, just yesterday we were putting people through a 2-day kind of training session with an external trainer, just to give them some strategies and some skills around how do you sell in this world? How do you kind of keep it engaging? If you're doing your 3rd demo of the day and you've been looking at the screen for 7 hours, and historically you as much as travel can be hard, you get off the train, you grab a coffee, you meet your colleague, you have a prep, you walk in, you're kind of on stage. So how do you do that when actually you haven't left the house and you've been on calls for 9 hours? So we've had to evolve it. Certainly from a business development perspective, it's been tricky. I mean, our business development team, again, are brilliant, but you can't get hold of people. So how do you then get hold of people because everyone's at home? Now, again, it's getting easier now. We've noticed the last few months, people are set up to be able to be contacted at home, but it's super difficult because someone might not have a mobile, or we don't have it, or we can't phone the head office. So we've had to evolve, and I think like everybody, but where do I think it will go to in the future? I think it'll be more of a hybrid model, that the face-to-face sales interaction will still become important, but it won't be the be-all and end-all. And actually, we'll be comfortable talking like this because it's an efficient use of everyone's time.
And I think everybody has missed out on that kind of face-to-face contact and the kind of innovation and the dialogue that stems from that. But I think BD as a department is probably one of the most impacted. Because like you said, you do like to get a feel for the person, it's the empathy and the kind of passion and stuff. So I'm speaking with you now, and your enthusiasm, your passion is shining through. It's clear as day, but it's still not the same as if we were face to face in your garden office or in my study. You know, there'd be a different kind of feel and a different vibe to it, wouldn't there? And I think for BD, that's really, really crucial. It is for the departments as well, of course, but particularly for sales, kind of in that sales and BD environment.
Yeah, massively. And you know, again, I'm well aware of the team that, you know, salespeople by nature get energy by being with customers and being out and about, right? So you suddenly ask people to be stuck in their kitchen or their bedroom or their office for 8-9 hours a day and they're not getting out there. It's hard. So, you know, I look for those peaks and troughs in people whereby actually there's a bit of a lull day or it's a bit of a difficult day, but at the same time, it's super efficient. So I think what have we also learned? You know, you set up a Teams call, done. You know, I've done lots of customer reviews, as I said, you know, when I joined and as part of COVID, speaking to customers. Now, historically, I'd have probably met most of them face to face, you know, and that involves getting on a train, doing 3 or 4 meetings a day in London, coming home, or Leeds, or whatever city I go to. Wow, I've got all that time back. You know, I've got all that time back, and the customer's happy that we've had that interaction. So I think it will evolve to, you'll do a load of things online, but we'll still have face-to-face interactions, and hopefully on the back of it, we'll more time rich.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I say, I think you know, you're clearly, from a leadership point of view, your energy and passion, it shines through, Matt. Honestly, it really does.
That's good. I mean, I come from a leadership development, but I mean, a lot of my history is leadership development and coaching, so I have a real passion for employee engagement, and I love reading about businesses that have great brands and businesses. There's one common factor, and that's highly engaged employees. You know, I always use people like Pret a Manger or John Lewis in that. You go in, you always get a good experience. And why is that? Because the employees love their job and they love their product, and they'll do anything for you. So it's a simple model, but it's something that businesses quite often get so wrong.
So it sounds like there's very exciting times ahead for CIPHR. What does the future hold for you guys next kind of 12-18 months? What should our viewers look forward to?
Well, so I think firstly, from a product perspective, lots of new products and features. I think from a secondary perspective, we continue to evolve and grow our partners. So again, we don't just look for, let's just add 20 partners. We want to add great partners. So we look to add partners that grow out our broader proposition. Clearly, we've acquired a couple of businesses, which involves, you know, a little bit of integration and thinking about how do we make that employee and people management experience simpler. So again, really exciting kind of innovations around those products and services for our customers. And I guess, dare I say it, and everyone probably says this, but continued growth. You know, we're still driving for growth. You mentioned there's some positivity in the market around us, and we obviously need to nurture that. And you know, I think by bringing more things to market and simplifying that experience for our customers, it's a really exciting time.
No, it sounds like it, absolutely, and wish you all the best in doing that. We're going to move on to the quick fire round. Just get to know a little bit more about you, Matt. Don't know if this is gonna end well or not, but we'll
I'll just hang up if it doesn't.
We'll try. 7 questions here. We'll just dive straight in. Okay, what's your favorite app?
My favorite app, well, the one I'm probably addicted to is Twitter.
Twitter, you're on Twitter? Yeah.
Oh, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. I periodically delete it because I get annoyed that I'm kind of obsessed with flicking into it. But yeah, I love Twitter. I love Twitter just for, you get a sense check of what's going on in the world.
What's going on in the world right now? Yeah, that's what I enjoy about Twitter as well. Do you tweet often, or are you a flicker?
Flicker.
Yeah.
Never tweet. Okay. I only tweet when I have a complaint. So if I have a really bad customer service and it's pushed me to the limit, I tweet because I feel that's I've noticed it's a very good way of getting people's attention.
Oh, as soon as it, you know, whether it's a Trains or a Barclays Bank or whatever the issue is, as soon as you add them in.
Yeah. And at the same time, the only other one that I'm active on a lot and I love is Trip. I really feel if I have great service or really poor service, I'll say it. So when I go away or go to a restaurant and it's brilliant, I'll always say fantastic, and if it's really bad, I do the same. So I love TripAdvisor as well.
Okay, cool. All right. Next question. What's your favorite book?
I'm not an avid reader actually, but one book I loved, and I've read it in lockdown, and I loved, is The Everything Store about Amazon, and it is brilliant, and it's just about Jeff Bezos starting with nothing in his garage to where it is today. And it's a fairly brutal story at times, but what a story. And I loved it. I just thought the book was brilliant. I've recommended it because it's a business book, but it's just really interesting.
Yeah.
And we all know the topic, so it's quite an interesting game. I loved that book. It was brilliant.
I might check that one out. I'm more of a reader on an app, actually. So kind of short articles or insights rather than a book.
Yeah, same for me.
Like similar to yourself, I've never been a big reader of books as such, but I do enjoy reading articles and little bits in, maybe bite-sized chunks.
Yeah, I started reading more a bit like business books that are but more. I read Shoe Dog as well, which is the Nike story.
Nike story,
as well. So again, those books I've kind of really got into in lockdown and just loving them.
Okay, cool. Apple or Samsung?
Apple all day long.
Yeah, are you totally bought in?
Yeah.
Too far invested to go the other way?
Too far invested. The kids are invested in it. My wife decided one day to move to Samsung, and she kind of begged me for her Apple back. I said, "Well, you've bought it now." But yeah, we're an Apple family, and we're well bought in. And
I've asked that question maybe 4 times to different people, and the marketing teams of both Apple and Samsung will have you believe it's like a 50-50 split. Everybody I've asked has answered Apple.
Apple is amazing, isn't it? It's awesome. I mean, I've got mates who are just like, how can you use that thing? Because it's just Samsung all the way, because they're just.
But you know what? It starts with before and brand, and it starts from the unboxing. So my wife is Samsung, and she has been, and she just doesn't get it, and it's a shame because we can't share data and all that kind of stuff. But either way. And you unbox an iPhone.
Yeah.
So I got the 11 Pro a few months ago. Got a good deal. I got that. Even the unboxing of it is just, it's an event in itself. Whereas Samsung, it's nice, but it's the same thing. The box is the box, and they have a little piece of paper on top, but it just doesn't feel as nice.
Yeah.
The whole experience isn't quite as top notch as Apple.
Yeah.
And brand wise, they're killing it.
Yeah, it's just a phenomenal business. I use my iPad Pro. I've got my laptop here, but I use my iPad Pro, and I'll find often if I just want to clear emails, my Pro just organizes my email, just bang, 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 clear emails, and it's just they just think again, I talked about that employee experience, like they're thinking, how do we make your life easier? I've got the Sunday Times app and I love it. Like just reading the paper is easier on the app than it is paper. So it's just, I think they're a phenomenal business.
They really are. They really are. Okay, which movie character best describes you, Matt?
Oh, crikey. God, that's a difficult one, isn't it?
It's a tough question, that, actually. But which movie character best describes you?
Oh man, movie character. Let me come back to it. Let me have a think.
Okay, we'll switch it. What's your favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Brilliant.
Brilliant
film.
Loved it.
Absolutely. There's everything about it. In fact, there was on the other day on Sky Movie Channel, the last kind of maybe 10 minutes when he's free and he's under the rocks and he's checking for. It's just brilliant. Everything about it. I agree with that. It's a really good film.
Yeah.
Okay. This is similar to the movie. Which cartoon character best describes you?
Not a big cartoon fan. I don't know. Movie character, cartoon. Let me come back to that one as well.
Come back. Okay. Favorite sports team?
Favorite sports team, Manchester United. You can tell from my southern accent, right?
You're based in Hampshire, yeah?
I was born in Jersey, so I was born even further south. Yeah, but my family are all from Manchester in the Lake District. So it kind of came with the territory.
Well, I too am a big current. It sounds a bit daft after the grown man. Current favorite player. I know we probably don't have favorite players at the moment, but who's your favorite historic Man United player?
Eric Cantona, all day long.
Day long.
Yeah, all day long. In fact, if you'd asked me about my favorite football, instead of a movie character, it'd be Eric Cantona. Yeah, just the way he transformed that club and came aboard, and slightly quirky and a bit bonkers, but just passionate about everything that he did. I just love it. I'm so frustrated with the team at the moment. I don't really there's no one I can really kind of like in that team at the moment, which is, I suppose, Rashford, because of what he's done.
Rashford, I think, and maybe Fernandes shows a bit of passion and a bit of energy, but Yeah, it's slim pickings.
It is, and then
It's
there's
slim
others where I
pickings.
just wish they get out of the club. It's just depressing.
I think we're from a different generation, a different time of football. So my favourite football players, whether United or not, have always been the Roy Keanes, the Eric Cantonas, the Brian Robsons. I'd even say someone like Steven Gerrard. Plays for Liverpool, but that drive and passion and energy he's got. And those kind of players, they don't make them like that anymore.
Again, I think sadly it comes all down to leadership, right? So if you look at what Liverpool have done, which is highly depressing for me, but from the manager to Henderson down, it's we want to win, we're driven, we believe in it, we're bought into something. What I see with the Man United team is I don't think they're bought into anything, because I think the club's just become a rudderless mess.
And it's really interesting. The Henderson, I have a lot of Liverpool fans. They're surprisingly seems to be quite a few of them around at the moment. But Henderson is the one player in that Liverpool team who you'd think actually doesn't fit. He's probably the least gifted out of the starting 11, I would say.
Agree.
Goalkeeper's probably got a better touch, but he's probably one of the most important in terms of bringing that whole group together. Because what happens on a football pitch is one thing, but what happens outside of the football pitch, in the dressing room and outside of that kind of environment is so important. And very similar analogies to business, isn't there? As well.
I've read a lot of
the star players, and you have
I've read Alex Ferguson's books, but as a Man United fan, what did he do? Yes, he had the iron fist, but he managed it, and it was that kind of mentality, and Arsene Wenger had it, and I think Jurgen Klopp's now got it.
Yeah.
But I see in Manchester United, it just isn't there. There's not like kind of that core of this is what we're doing, and you're either on the bus or you're off the bus. But if you're on it, we'll go with it. If you're off the bus, jump off. So
when the talk, and again using a footballing analogy, when the talk is all the time about the owners or the board,
bad news,
and not about the football team, absolutely, it's bad news. Happened at Arsenal, didn't it, for ages? And it was about Wenger and about the board not spending any money. It's now the same at United. Yeah. You don't hear that about Liverpool at the moment. No, it's all about the team, the manager, like it used to be about United and Fergie. And that is the issue.
Very bad.
That right there is the issue. Okay. Last question. Which two guests, dead or alive, would you invite to a dinner party, excluding family?
Right. I'd definitely invite Alex Ferguson.
Yes.
Because he'd be fascinating. He looks like good company. I feel like he'd talk. I'd just be fascinated by that. And I watched in lockdown, there was a Michelle Obama series on one other thing, and Barack Obama, I think I would really like to kind of be around. Again, I think he was remarkable in what he did and achieved and where he's come from. And I think him and Ferguson would get on well. I think it'd be a really interesting dinner party.
I think they get on really well. That would be interesting, actually. Barack and Fergie in the same room.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Good. But I'd just love they're two people I'd love to hear and speak and chat and ask them some questions.
They'd have fantastic stories to tell, wouldn't they?
They've got a couple of stories, right?
They'd have a couple, yeah. Brilliant.
I don't think I would have any stories that would be relevant to that dinner party.
I'm not sure HR Tech is going to play much of a part
no.
in that storyline. But there you go. Brilliant. I know you push for time. Thank you so much, Matt, for joining us today. I've really enjoyed this. It's been a pleasure to speak with you. I wish you, all of the guys at CIPHR, fantastic positivity and good luck for everything you guys do in the future. And for anyone watching this, get on the CIPHR website, follow them on LinkedIn. They have some really, really good content out there, and you'll learn a lot. So get in touch with Matt if you need to as well.
Thank you, Asad. Thanks for your time. Really enjoyed it.
No problem at all. Thank you, guys, and see you on the next episode.